So, hey guys, Chaucer here. So, yeah, I'm here to talk about Legend Yamato and Legend Ulti and page 1 on JP. They dropped like in the middle of the night for me, like 3 a.m. I do hope this won't be that super common occurrence after the sync, because like if most hyper events start at 3 a.m, that will kind of suck, I'd say. So yeah, I prefer we keep the normal news time most of the time. But yeah, anyway, Yamato int striker driven, and I must say I'm very happy. The thing I'm the most happy with Yamato is that we finally get a very good striker focused unit. Like, it's driven too, of course, but like striker is one of those classes that you don't really talk about them being bad, but there's rarely any reason to use striker units in particular. Like, there's very few striker focused caps, and the ones that exist don't really see any use as captains. So finally having a new one, and very viable one, is pretty cool. Anyway, one thing I do want to note is that it is confirmed that Yamato will get a 6+. Did not expect. I'm not particularly happy about it, because it means Yamato can't get a 6+ in like 2-3 years, But yeah, that's what the way they went down. Like, it makes sense. It means they can get a second win of Yamato hype after the face reveal, and then right after that anime episode release the 6+, and the 6+ is coming out in 2 weeks on the 19th, I think, right after the anime episode. With that said, let's check out the captain. Int driven and strikers, 4.75 times attack, 1.3 times HP. And if they have a Wano slot, it's 5 times attack, reduces 10 turns of bind on crew, and when HP is 50% or less, you get a very small extra chain boost, 1.2 times, and reduce incoming damage by 20%. Yeah, very good, of course. We already know Yamato will have Wano orbs, which is the best orb you can have in the game most of the time. We know Yamato inherently resists bind. The first unit in the game that inherently resists bind. I did not expect it to happen, and if it did happen, it wouldn't be that much, but 10 turns bind resist is quite a thing. Obviously, they made it so Yamato doesn't easily pair with units that also resist the spear. And there might also be some funkiness, like if you get binded and the spear on captains, like how will the interaction work even if you have bind and the spear resists captains? But that's things we have to find out. But yeah, damn solid captain. Obviously that bind resistance is invaluable. You get the meta 5 times attack with a Wano orb, and of course Wano orb basically means that it's like closer to 6 times attack, really, since one orb is an extra 2.5 times damage. Like normal beneficial orbs is 2 times extra attack, one orb is 2.5 times extra attack, so it's the highest damaging orb you can have in the game. And the only units that provide it right now is Luffy Zoro, Oden and Yamato, and Supernova Luffy, but only for himself and only on final stage. But yet, while the captain is amazing, let's look at the special. The special is a bit toned down compared to that. Cuts 20% HP of all enemies. For 1 turn, inflict enemies with increased damage taken by 1.75 times. For 1 turn, make perfects easy to hit by a lot, and for 1 turn plus 1.1 to chain, and change block and matching orbs to Wano orbs. So yeah, the best comparison for this special really is Oden, and yeah, you see where they get the inspiration from. But yeah, while Oden gives orb boost for 2 turns and changes matching to Wano, Yamato does a bit more, including changing block orbs to 1 orbs. That's so good, can't understate that. Also does an HP cut, which is nice since Yamato is in, so Yamato can run Halloween Law support, also give an orb boost 1 time. Pretty low, but yeah, at least Yamato gets some kind of normal extra damage support, and of course orb boost goes well together with 1 slots as well. Easier perfects, always nice. Increased damage taken isn't bad, it's just that it's not as good as the Wano law or the V5 law, because that increased damage taken goes through full immunity. This one though does not, but I'd see it as an extra bonus rather than something that, like, Yamato will still be good against full immunity. It's just, yeah, can't take advantage of the increased damage taken, and that's it. One thing that makes Yamato stand out a bit more is the super type, because like Odin has to rely on other units to lock the orbs. Like it's just a more bothersome to get 1 orbs with Odin and keep them. With Yamato, you can not only change matching but also block to Wano, but then Yamato can lock it with the super type, and it's pretty easy to get it. You just need some type of chain lock or chain boost. So chain lock should work, chain boost should work, chain sets should work. So that's Ulti and page 1 swap, by the way, we'll get to them later. The only thing that doesn't work is what they write chain boost multiplier. It's what we call chain multiplier. It's basically Sun Judge swap, V2 with Rebecca swap, super type sabo, super type special, stuff like that. And yeah, Yamato does have the chain multiplier boost in the super type as well, because it's not only an orb block but also a chain multiplier boost by 1.25 times. And yeah, this means that Yamato will have quite the chain. So while Yamato isn't a chain captain, Yamato still can reach quite high chains, especially when paired up with a chain setter like Ulti and page 1 is the best one, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, just pairs very well with the special that gives chain boost, then you get even higher chain with the chain multiplier boost, and then you can add a chain set, and Yamato can quite easily hit 5 times chain, which is what makes Yamato's last tap pretty damn nice. Remember, last tap is only final stage and only when Yamato hits last. But when Yamato hits last final stage with level 4 or above last tap, whatever chain you have is doubled for Yamato. So if you build up to a 5-time chain, which is realistic, Yamato will hit with a 10-time chain. So yeah, obviously incredible damage, pretty damn busted. Might be a good one to invest in, because unlike other last taps, you reach the full effect at level 4. Level 5 just adds a Wano slot, and realistically Yamato should have a Wano slot by then. And even if Yamato doesn't, Wano slot doesn't add super duper more damage than a normal orb. So yeah, it's not the end of the world. For the other limit breaks like hunger, slot bind, like, yeah, can't complain. Super useful to have. Like, you'd wish that Yamato would have Barrier Pen somewhere, since it's probably the best limit break, but yeah, you can't complain about a good last tap. Hunger, slot bind, super good. Very nice, and we still need to wait a bit and see with the 6+, like, is it a buff? Does Yamato change color? We just don't know. All I say is that while the cap is balanced, it's neutered a bit by the special, not being all too crazy, but yeah, in the end, just changing slots to Wano in itself is super busted, especially with a good captain multiplier. So yeah, Yamato, super good legend, for sure. Support, nothing special. Just extra damage against Kaido would probably be useful, and 10% attack. Should have been higher, I'd say. But yeah, let's look at Ulti and page 1, and that's my favorite legend of this batch, but I'm biased towards duo units as well. Ulti and page 1 in duo form is a driven powerhouse Dex quick unit. Page 1 is Dex, Ulti is quick, and I just say that starting off, that's such a good color combination, because if you think about the two worst colors in One Piece Treasure Cruise, it's probably Dex and quick. Of course, Dex stands out more, but quick is also pretty lacking, and yeah, just buffing two colors at once, very nice. And they got pretty nice captains too. Like they both boost driven and powerhouse, but like most of the time you have a good chance of having at least 4.25 up to 4.5 times attack. That's a big step up. Yeah, even though the alarm bell rang, I woke up earlier than expected. Like, I'm not going to redo the video, I've already talked long enough. You'll just have to forgive me for that. So yeah, basically they're making duo unit a bit better as captain, because you don't start out with way too low attack. So that's the main issue with duos as captains, usually that before you get into duo form your attack is a bit too low and just makes things bothersome. Still a bit of the case here, but yeah, let's look at the combined cap anyway. So the combined captain boosts attack of driven and powerhouse by 4.75 times, 5 times with the matching slot, makes Dex quick recovery tandem count as matching. This 500 times their attack in own type damage to all enemies at the end of the turn, and if a strong enemy is present, reduces damage received by 30%. Let's just look at the special right away, because then we can talk about strong enemy. So their special deals 300 times their attack in typeless damage to all enemies, changes all orbs to matching, completely removes target lock debuff, that's new, becomes Ulti and page 1 for 3 turns. If captain is driven or powerhouse, applies the strong enemy status on the enemies with 10 million or more HP, ignoring debuff protection, and boosts attack against strong enemies by 2.25 times for 1 turn. Okay, so basically, strong enemy is a new conditional boost. And if you use their special, you can apply it, and you can only apply it to enemies with 10 million or more HP. Like if you think about bosses, like that's basically every single final boss for every new arena or whatever, like hard content. Like point events might be iffy, but final stage is probably more than 10 million. I don't really keep track that well. Like stage 4 might be a bit more iffy. Like nowadays it's probably about 10 million most of the time, but anyway. Speaking of the captain, like it's fine. I'd say that it's pretty weird. Like the standalone captains also has the strong enemy thing, but most of the time they won't be able to make use of it, because it only applies after you use the specials. It's just a bit weird. Ulti and page 1 in single form is just pretty frail. They don't really have any damage reduction, no HP boost. Yeah, and combined cap does get a lot of damage reduction with if you get the strong effect, and they have the end of turn damage as well. But yeah, I'd say they are very questionable captain. I'm not a big fan of their captain, which is fine. They are a duo unit. They are mainly a sub, and oh boy, they are quite a sub. Let's talk about the strong debuff. Like first, it's just crazy. Like it's basically ignoring full immunity against any boss, and that's just mind-blowing to think about. Like any boss, You ignore full immunity. They just need to be about 10 million HP. Bosses will be about 10 million HP unless they do a super gimmicky boss for some content. So no matter what, you get 2.25 times extra damage. And that can be stacked with attack boost, ore boost, color affinity, possibly increased damage taken, but yeah, it depends on what unit you use. But yeah, you can stack so much extra damage with that. And yeah, it's hard to talk about this without looking at the swap, because the swap is also nuts. They have a super swap as well. CS swap, remove paralysis on self. That's probably my main complaint. I'd like it to remove one turn for crew. But it's just for themselves. Like, it's not bad, but it's whatever. But the big thing is the next one. Changes onslaught to matching and sets the initial chain to 1.6 times for one turn. So yeah, basically this is the chain set mechanic. It just says when the chain should start, so you always start the chain at 1.6 times. Then you can add on chain buffs, like chain boost, chain multiplier boost and such. So yeah, basically this swap is made to work very well with Yamato, since you can swap Ulti and page 1, you get the chain set. You can use Yamato special, you get chain boost, and you use Yamato's super type, and you get chain multiplier boost. And if you do it with the super swap, that is 2.5 times chain set instead of 1.6 times, you can super easily get to 5 times chain. So yeah, pretty nutty, and just having a chain set swap is insane. Like, I'm sure you all know how good Vivi and Rebecca is with the chain locks swap, and a 1.6 times chain set is basically as good as a 2.5 times chain lock. Basically, it means that after you hit with 4 units, you will reach 2.5 times. You will have 2 units that hit even harder at 2.8 and 3.1. So basically it's like you have fewer units that do more damage, but it might be more overall damage because they have high stats, more buffs and such, instead of like normal chain lock where 5 units on the team hits at the same chain for more consistent damage. But yeah, of course, the great thing with chain set is that unlike chain lock, you can raise the chain further. Like, it makes any special, including chain boost, a lot better. It makes chain boost support a lot better. Like, yeah, just an amazing swap. And having a special that bypasses full immunity to add 2.25 times more damage, together with a swap that gives chain set. Poof, so good. And we're not even done talking. One thing to note first is that Captain needs to be driven or powerhouse for this to work, which is a restriction, holds them back a bit, but driven and powerhouse has got so good now. It's starting to get good on global, it's even better on JP. It won't really be a super big issue. It's just the captain. You don't need to build a full driven and powerhouse team either. As long as the captain is one, it's fine. And yeah, another cool thing with Ulti in page 1 is the remove target lock debuff. First in the game to do it, super cool. Like, the weird thing is that they do so much damage with their special, and target lock debuff stages usually have a lot of low HP mobs and stuff. So if there's no normal attack only, that doesn't matter. But if there isn't normal attack only, like, yeah, you just to be able to beat content in different ways, and I'm a big fan of that. Like, we can even do, like, I don't know if you remember Colosseum Komurasaki, where you get a target lock on another enemy. Yeah, I don't remember the name now. But yeah, there's 2 enemies, it's Komurasaki and 1 more. You get target locked onto the other one, and if you kill that enemy, Komurasaki runs away. So I'm just like, now we can remove the target lock there, we can just target Komurasaki and take her out. what happens then. Like before, it was impossible to just kill, to only kill Komurasaki. Now we can only kill Komurasaki there if we want. Like, yeah, it's I get like a little kid at Christmas when I get new cool toys to revisit old stuff, try new things we couldn't do before, stuff like that. So yeah, that's a nice bonus for me personally. Yeah, I think that's everything I have to talk about here. The limit break abilities are super basic but good. I'd probably remove the recovery bind, but it might be useful sometimes. As for the other units, I'm not going to talk a lot about them. They seem like really solid re-recruits. They have good internal synergy as well. They remove most stuff together. They give attack and war boost together. So yeah, nothing to complain about really. Artwork is really cool too. X-Drake, upcoming free-to-play unit 2. We're going to have the first blitz in a long time. Like it's like maybe 9 months on JP or something. Like it's pretty insane. But yeah, I've been guessing it that if Blitz returns, it will not be like a normal Blitz anymore. And indeed, it's going to be a Pirate Alliance Blitz basically, so team rewards as well. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. We'll see how it works out on JP. But yeah, I feel like I've talked enough now. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.